It's been 8 months since Mahsa Amini died while in police custody in Iran. Her death sparked months of anti-government demonstrations, and while the protests have faded, the movement against the mandatory hijab is alive. Iranian women continue to push boundaries. Buttons launched during a 2018 campaign opposing the mandatory hijab are now making a comeback, thanks to the efforts of Jeff Kaufman and Marsha Ross, who directed and produced the 2021 documentary on Iranian human rights lawyer Nasreen Sotoudeh. Jeff and Marsha, great to have you with us here on the program. I want to start with you, Jeff. Why have you decided to back this cause?
Well, we both long supported the cause of human rights and women's rights, which are really inseparable. We are drawn to Nasreen Sotoudeh's story because she's a great champion of those causes and of religious minorities and ethnic minorities, which really represents something we believe in both for, obviously, Iran, but for the United States and all around the world.
Now, one of the things the Iranian government seems to be doing is pressuring businesses to sort of enforce the mandatory hijab. Marsha, what are you hearing from people you know on the ground in Iran?
Well, there's so many concerns. I mean, in particular, concerns about what's happening to the girls in the schools. I think that's a huge concern right now. It sort of ebbs and it flows. We get information sometimes things seem very quiet, and then all of a sudden, there's a lot of information coming out. We're very grateful that Farhad Mezmi was released from prison. That was very, very important.
I should just also add that one of the vice presidents of Iran recently said that the mandatory hijab was inseparable from the identity of the Iranian regime. That means the repression of women to them is inseparable from the regime, and that's something that just can't stand.
Can you talk us through your campaign itself? What does it hope to achieve here?
Well, first of all, when Farhad Mezmi, Nasreen and Reza Khandan's great friend, was released from prison, Nasreen wore a button that Farhad and Reza had made that said, "I oppose the mandatory hijab." They'd both been arrested because of that. 10,000 buttons had been confiscated. That button remained. And we thought there was great power in replicating the button and sharing it with people around the world to show that there is solidarity with activists in Iran for democracy and women's rights, but also that an idea like that can't be crushed. We wanted to honor the resilience of those activists.
I watched your documentary, Nasreen, in preparing for this interview, and one of the lines which she said that struck me was, if you succeed in forcing us to wear this half-meter of cloth, you will be able to do whatever you want to us. Marsha, do you see the hijab as just the first step for more to come?
I do, because that's just one thing. I think Nasreen talks about it a lot. The hijab just represents something so much bigger than the hijab itself. The idea of forcing women to wear it is about trying to force women to do everything, having total control over them. And if you can do one thing, you could put them back in burqas. You can do all kinds of things to people. You can keep them out of school. You can keep them out of the workplace. And so it takes on a much greater meaning.
And what about what is going on in Iran right now when it comes to the hijab? Because yes, in cities like Tehran, women are seen in public without the mandatory head covering, yet that isn't representative of what is going on in other parts of the country, is it?
Well, one of the things that Nasreen's husband, Reza Khandan, has stressed is that their objection isn't to everyone wearing a hijab, it's to the forced wearing of the hijab, the forced veiling. So they support a right for a woman to choose what she wears, what she thinks, what she does. And so if someone wants to wear a hijab, that's their choice, but it cannot be mandated by the government. And as Marsha says, when they start mandating what you wear, they're really controlling your life and the life of everyone around you.
And where can people get a button from?
First of all, here is an example of the button that is an exact replica of what was made in Iran in 2018. They can go to the website for the Nasreen film. We have a special dedicated page for the "I oppose the mandatory hijab" button, and perhaps you can roll that chyron and say it, or you can just say it's www.nasreenfilm.com.
Jeff and Marsha, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for your concern.
Thank you for having us.
And that's where we leave it for this edition of Middle East Matters. From all of us on team, thank you very much for watching.